What's up guys, it's mtga Matthew back with another video, and today we're gonna be doing something a little different from the past videos. So in the last few videos I just presented my own original deck ideas, but of course as expansions get released and the meta settles a little bit, new established decks come into the meta that dominate the meta, or at least often seen, and one of those decks is Azorius Soldiers. So today I just took a deck from untap.gg, I just net decked it, because I just wanted to try the deck for myself without investing, too much time building it myself into it. And this is the list that I got from untap.gg, and unless you've been living under a rock, you've noticed that Azorius Soldiers are pretty dominant in the meta. It's basically the premier aggro deck right now, together with mono red and maybe Selesnya enchantments. So let's go through this deck one by one and just see what this deck is all about. So first of all, in the 1-drop slot we got 4 copies of Recruitment Officer. It's a 1 mana 2/1 human soldier, and for 4 mana you can look at top 4 cards and get a creature card with mana value 3 or less and put it into your hand. So this is a really nice 1-drop, comes with 2 powers, so you can start being aggressive right away. And yeah, I think pretty much all soldier deck versions run this 1-drop. But then if we look at the second 1-drop, this is already something I would say, from my experience, what I've seen in the meta, this 1-drop Spectrum Sentinel is not in all soldier decks, and rather there's another 1-drop which you can actually show. I think it's called Ocean Frontliner. This is the alternative 1-drop that a lot of soldier decks run, so it's a 1 mana 1/1. It says whenever it attacks, another creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and you can unearth it for a single white mana. I think the reason a lot of soldier decks prefer the Ocean Frontliner over the Spectrum Sentinel. Let's actually read the Sentinel. It's a 1 mana 1/2 with protection from multicolored, and when a non-basic land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. So I think the main difference between these two decks is that the Frontliner is way more aggressive, by giving another attacking creature +1/+1. And also it gives you a little bit of reach in the unearth ability, in that if you have a board full of soldiers and your opponent casts a board wipe, after the board wipe you can unearth the Frontliner and still get in for another damage, and just keep pushing your opponent this way, which you can't do with the Spectrum Sentinel. Now, what could be reasons for the Sentinel? The Sentinel can give you some occasional life gain, right? In some matchups that might be relevant. I think the protection from multicolor is mostly relevant against Selesnya enchantment decks, because it can protect you from the, what's it called? The 2 mana enchantment guy that reduces your enchantment spells by 1 and has lifelink. So it's got protection from that, but overall I would probably say that the Ocean Frontliner is a better 1-drop. But anyway, this version runs 4 copies of Spectrum Sentinel. Then in the 2-drop slot, there's a lot of stuff going on, so we run 4 copies of Resolute Reinforcements, just 2 mana 1 with flash, comes with another token. It's just great to keep pushing. For example, after a board wipe, your opponent plays a board wipe, and then you flash in the reinforcements and can just keep attacking this way. 4 copies of Fire Guardian of Frame, pretty self-explanatory, right? One of the best 2-drops, best aggro 2-drops ever. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. This is really great against control decks, especially to delay that board wipe by 1 turn. And it's also 2/1 first striker, really nice. 4 copy of Valiant Veteran. This is also a staple for soldier decks, gives all your other soldiers +1/+1. And then when it dies, you can pay 5 and exile it from your graveyard to put a 1/1 counter on each soldier you control. So early game, this gives you just more power on the board, and in late game, this also just puts more power on the board in the form of 1/1 counters. And then something like the next 4 slots here are really spicy, and which makes this version of soldiers a little bit different. 2 copies of Zephyr's Sentinel, which is a 2 mana 2/1 flash flyer in blue. It's also a soldier. At the end of the battlefield, you return up to one avatar creature you control to its owner's hand, and if it's a soldier, you put a 1/1 counter on Sentinel. So what you can do with Sentinel is, first of all, similar to Reinforcements, you can just play it as a 2/1 flash flyer after a board wipe to keep pushing. But what's even better is if your opponent has single target removal against one of your soldiers, you play the Sentinel, you bounce the soldier, thereby negating the removal spell, and you develop a 3/2 flyer, which is really, really good, right? So Sentinel is, I think, like a nice tech, more or less, against removal spells, and it's a flyer, right? It's just another way to get in more damage. Second copy of Decktech by Apprentice. I think this is against aggro matchups, especially against mono red, because 2/3 lifelinker is a really good blocker. The lifelink helps a lot, and of course when it dies, you can still get another 3/2 flyer for 4 mana. So one of the Decktech, pretty nice. And then we also have a one-off of Harbin Vanguard Aviator, 2 mana 3/2 flyer, so premium stats with this keyword ability. It says whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1, gain flying until end of turn. This can be great just on turn 2, right? Developing a 3/2 flyer on turn 2 is absolutely fantastic. But also later in the game, maybe you've come to a little bit of a stalemate with your opponent, and you top deck this and you have 5 soldiers on the board or more. You can just play this, and when you attack, its ability triggers, right? Because Harbin itself does not need to attack to have its ability trigger. So Harbin, just a nice one-off. And then finally, the 3-drop style is very straightforward. 4 copies of Brute Kafar, acts as a removal spell, right? Remove any creature on board, keep the pressure on. 4 copies of Siege Veteran, puts counters on other creatures so they keep growing. But more importantly, it also protects you against board wipes, because if your opponent wipes your board with Siege Veteran on the board, all your non-token soldiers get replaced by token soldiers, so it can just keep pushing. And finally, 4 copies of Sky Strike Officer, also very powerful creature, 3 mana 2/3 flyer. When it attacks, you get a 1/1 soldier. That's not attacking, by the way, very important. And you can tap 3 soldiers you control to draw a card. So this guy is just another flying threat that provides you with card draw and more soldiers on the ground. So really a premium creature. Most importantly, the draw ability doesn't require you to tap Sky Strike Officer as an activation cost. So you can just play the Officer and use the ability right away, regardless of Summoning Sickness. And Sky Strike Officer, you know, it's just a flying threat that gets pumped up by Valiant Veteran or Siege Veteran, and this way gets in for a lot of damage. And that's basically the deck. It's just, you know, it's an aggro deck. You get in for damage, but aggro decks are really about making the right small decisions to get in there for the last few bits of damage. And I would say I'm still learning about that. And by the way, regarding the lands, we run 24 lands with the usual suspects of, you know, the Neon Dynasty lands in Aiganjo and Otawara. But then, like the 8 special lands in a way are 4 copies Secluded Courtyard, because you can just play name soldiers and play everything in the stack, and 4 copies of Fortified Beachhead, which of course it's a dual land specifically made for soldiers. And I would suspect that this is a super cycle going over the next expansions, because, you know, we have a 2 mana Lord from Dominaria United for soldiers, elves, clerics, merfolk, and goblins. And I assume probably in the following expansions we're gonna get more dual lands like this that refer to one of those creature types. But anyway, that's the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, a bit of a meta video today. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I see you guys soon.
Emperor of Kamigawa, and I do protect my people.
Phyrexia is the multiverse's synthetic destiny. Bow before Phyrexia.
It's like your defenses aren't even there. Something you don't know. just started.
Here I am. Knowledge is meant to be shared. Even I don't know everything about chronomancy.
I could sneak right by, but I got someone on the inside who can help. There's no secret I can't uncover. Now, what do we have here? Now this is a juicy secret. Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
The past is a puzzle. I'm going to solve it. Nobody knows the past better than me.
Our eyes are everywhere.